All right, so here's Sean's recap video. You can see here's his technique before. What was going on is Sean had this really kind of a weak grip. He had this right hand kind of glommed on across the top. He's got this left hand in a really weak position. And because of that, he was trying to push from the top. He's trying to push with his right hand. And that because of the technique he was using, this club head would pass the hands really quickly through impact. So he would get this rear shaft lean through impact with this right hand pushing. This when that right hand pushes, he was adding a lot of loft to the club. So he was leaving the ball out to the right by getting this curl in his right wrist. What we really want is, it doesn't matter who we take, whether it's Collin Morikawa or who, instead of a curl in this right wrist coming through impact, we actually want a curl in the left wrist coming through impact. So here we can see this left wrist curling, this back of this left hand pointing down to the ground. We see a curl in the left wrist and a bend back in the right, where Sean had this curl in the right wrist and a bend back in the left. So it doesn't matter who we take, whether it's Collin Morikawa, Tony Finau. It doesn't matter which one of Sean's swings we take, is that this right hand would be pushing through impact. So if you take a look here and we go to kind of the smaller swing, and we're just going to stop here. So this left hand is on kind of a weak position. That right thumb is really across the club. And instead of the hands leading the club head through impact, like we have here with Tony Finau, Sean had this right hand pushing, trying to push the club head close. So you can see that right hand is pushing, that club head is passing the hands too quickly. All right, so now that we know what we want the hands to be doing through impact, here's Sean's after technique. So the first thing we do is we train the right hand. So we get the right hand here. We got this right hand a lot more underneath. And we're going to let this right hand, let this club face rotate open. So you can see a big open club face here. And so he's going to go from this curl in this right wrist. He's going to keep the curl for about an inch, and then he's going to start bending the right wrist back through impact. And here's his new impact position with this right wrist not pushing through impact. So he's not going into flexion with his right wrist. Sean's actually going from flexion to now extension with his right wrist through impact. So now he's able to hit ball then ground. That right wrist is bending back through impact. Okay, and we're going to keep working on it, try to get that palm of that right hand to point to the ground. Okay, so that's him. That's kind of the first swing that we're working on. All right, so now we're going to go to both hands on the club, now that we got the right hand kind of trained. And now we go from a curl in this right wrist and a bend back in the left to now, instead of this right hand pushing through impact, there's his old impact position, and now here's his new impact position. So we've got this. Now we've got the hands leading the club head. Okay, so you can see a huge improvement from before to after. The hands now can lead the club head as that club face closes. Now here we just get him comfortable with a little bit of form rotation. We don't need quite this much forward shaft lean, but huge improvement from before to after. You can see that right hand pushing, and here's the opposite. We go from a kind of a pre-pushed right wrist to a curled left wrist, and trying to get that back of that left hand to point to the ground instead of that palm of that right hand pointed to the sky. We're trying to get that palm of that right hand pointed to the ground. Okay, huge improvement from before to after. Great work, and now we just need to work that into the full swing.